So let's do a quick summary and the biggest takeaways from all of this. We started with introducing you to each of the tabs. I showed you how to click on a tab, right click, and you'll see all the tabs that are hidden. If you want to open one up, you just click it and unhide it, and you'll be able to do things with those tabs. Company setup, chart of accounts, very important that the company setup page, you understand that you can change these start months, like if you're on a July to June and you want July to be the first month, all you have to do is get rid of January, input July, grab the right side where the little dot is, pull down, and it will go July, August, September, October. It'll correct the months for you. On the right side, these are opening balances. When you really opening balances for when you really have not done anything yet. So if you have a July start date and you're starting in July, this is the best place to go because you've closed out an account in June. You've closed out your books. So there's no other income and expenses yet anywhere in your system. So all you have is assets and liabilities. And as I mentioned, your owner equity will be automatically calculated. Chart of accounts. This is the only place you can change an account name, and only the things in yellow, and that goes for everything else in all the other tabs. Only the things in yellow can be changed. If you look at your accounts that are already in here and you have something and you say, look, I'll never use that account, now's the time to change it before you have any other inputs. Because if you do it in the middle of a year, when I think I used inventory as an example, if in the middle of the year you decide, I don't have inventory anymore, that was a one-time thing, I'm going to change it to some other name, you're going to have a problem because you're either going to get all errors for prior months where you input inventory, or the other thing that could happen is whatever you change that to, let's say we call it other assets 3, whatever you had in inventory is now going to show up in other assets 3. All right, so you'll not be able to split that out. And again, if you had an input in inventory and now you call it other assets 3, what you might see, and I think we'll probably see, is anywhere you had inventory before, when you go to your financial statements, you're going to get an error. All right, so that's a big takeaway on that. Equity split, probably could have gone into this a little more, but if you're only one person as an owner, you don't even need to fill out this page. But if you have more than one member, and I don't think I actually gave you examples of this, but for every contribution or draw that a member makes with 2 members, you have to have a date, which member it was, and up here you can actually change the member name, or you could leave it as member 1, member 2, as long as you know who's who. And this is not in yellow, but it probably should be, but you can change this. So what you want to do is, let's say I'm member 1, I make a deposit, I have the date, how much, it'll come over to the total entry page, and then it'll give me total equity for all equity. Now member 2 the next day puts in their amount. All right, let's actually do one. And I know I didn't do this on the other pages. So let's say I'm not going to put the date in. All right, member 1 puts in $1,000 one day. The next day, member 2 decides he's doing 1,000. This is what you get. All right, so you have a running total of every member's individual input or draw, and here's the actual entries. This is the running total. Now let's say both put in the same day 1,000, this is what you'll get. You get for that date 2,000, and then the running total will be 3,000. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how this is going to work. So as I said, it's if you've got somebody who understands how to do an Excel spreadsheet and can add a third member, that's great. Now you've got a little bit more difficult function up here that you've got to change. All right, so financial statements are very simple. It will pull each month that are getting input. It'll pull the total each month, and then when you get to the end, you'll see at the end you'll have all the balances you need. So it's cumulative for income and expenses. It's static for balance sheet. Wherever, like let's say in May you have a balance sheet, it's not a cumulative effect. It's as of the end of the month. That will show up over here, and you don't have any other entries beyond May. Okay, so that is our financial statements. Financial summary is just, each month has a financial summary on it, but this just breaks down by the quarter, and then the year to date chart. It's just showing you charts on this page. Customer vendor list, just input anybody who you use as a vendor, particularly if you're going to continuously use them. And what you will get in your monthly statement, your monthly input sheet, is a drop down where you see the vendor pair description. There will be a drop down box, and if you have any listed under the customer and vendor sheet, it'll be in the drop down box. The other way you can do it is just start typing it in, the same as the account name. You just start typing it in. I could hit an O, all the O stuff comes up, and it could be other, could be other expenses, other assets, owner equity, and if I put OF, office supplies, comes up. So you don't have to type the whole thing, as long as the first couple of letters are input. All right, so now we're into month one. You have to start at the top. You can't leave any blanks. If you forget an account name and you go to your financial statements, you're going to get an error up here instead of balanced. And usually if you see an error up there, the problem is going to be you forgot an account name in the first month that shows up as an error. Once you find it and correct that, everything else should say balanced. Okay. General journal entries. I like to see this more specifically for non-cash entries. When you're doing your credit card, remember what you should do is under the account name, you have credit card payable, and that's really the right way to do it. So when you get your credit card, you put in all your expenses. Maybe you have a cash back card that could go into, this is where you would run into a cash situation. Okay. If we right click and we look at, all right, bank reconciliation, I told you guys this was a tough one. It's very manual. A lot of people will just want to do the rec based on when you get your bank statement. There's going to be a page there to let you do the bank reconciliation. You may want to do it on that. This one, you're going to have to toggle back and forth and enter stuff off the bank statement and also enter stuff off of your month end information. So, when you get to the month, the one thing you could do is just use this cleared bank exit, whatever, put something in there to let you know that it cleared, And it'll make it easier when you do the next month to go back and say, well, this one was a prior month's entry, so let me go find it. Everything's good. Oh, here's a blank. Is it that one? Yep. Exit out. It's cleared now in the subsequent month. So, all right, guys. Then after the bank reconciliation, if you go all the way to the end, year-end adjustments, this is pretty neat. If I'm a guy doing your tax return and there's another account that I want to maybe move one of these items into an account that shows up on the IRS form, I can add my own stuff here and make the entries over here under adjustments, debits and credits. Now, that should add up if he's doing it right, but if it's somebody who knows something about Excel, they can just do a new total, and you're all set with that. Okay. So that's a quick summary. I think you have to be careful, especially with making sure that in the middle of the year, try not to change any of these account names. Do it at the beginning of the year. I have left account names open, like liability 1, liability 2, so that you can add accounts in. Let's say in the middle of the year you haven't made an entry for something, and my fiscal year is January to December, and in July I start paying something new. Well, now you can add that into, whether it's a liability, income, expense. You can use one of these open accounts if you'd like, rather than changing something. All right. I think that's a good rundown of everything. And I guess one of the things I also showed you guys was when you go to the review, you see we have protected sheets. If you click that on, you can do the password to unprotect the sheet. All right, once you unprotect the sheet, you have to be careful not to change anything, but what it allows you to do is see in these particular instances where we have hidden columns, you'll be able to, let me go to a month one. You'll see it goes from G to double B. There's hidden columns in here. And this little sign up here, once you unprotect, you click that, it'll open up and you'll see all the accounts across. Then when you want to close it up at the back end of it, there's the end of the line, and that's a little trickier. You got to hover in the right spot, click it, it'll close it up, and then you go back and go to the review, it'll say protect sheet, click that, and don't do the workbook, do the sheet, just protect the sheet. And as I said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when you get this system. All right, guys, I think that's it. Thank you for your attention, and keep reviewing what you've got.